Hello friends, welcome to my channel Tech Savvy. Today we are going to start a new series of AWS Solution Architect Associate course where you will get all the detailed learning about the AWS services with practical demo, error handling and how to troubleshoot them. So before we start our first class, let's just start with quick introduction and then we'll move. So anyone can start with their introduction.
Okay, my name is Ashwati and I'm from Odisha, Bhubaneswar.
My name is Jasmeet, so you can call me Jas in easy way. So presently I live in Canada. I just did my computer system technician course from Algonquin College, and now I just moving to uh, learn new things, and so I'm here.
So yeah, so both of you will be in the class for next couple of days until we
Okay.
finish our AWS course. And as I shared one Excel with you, have you received that email of
Yeah,
Excel?
I just
Yes.
received that. Yeah, in the
Okay, great. Yeah, we'll all only follow that path which I have shared with you. Yeah, okay. So this will be uh, our Excel, and see whatever doubt you will have, we can discuss then and there also. You can stop me, but if that doubt is taking so long, so we'll park it for the end of the class. And this Excel will keep all the day and days, start date and date tracking, and you guys can keep your status here. So status will be only these three: pending, complete and in process. Once I'll get time, I'll add drop down also here. And
okay.
it's like the status. Okay, let me add one more column here. So it will give the class status. Class status means like whatever we are teaching and we are learning, is that done in the class or not, one thing. And the status column which is there here, it means that you both have done with this topic from your end also, and you are confident enough to move forward,
Okay.
right? So these status you need to update by yourself. And labs and demo means like there are a lot of things which is not required any lab, so we'll keep update these things here, that whether lab is done or is this not applicable or something is pending
Okay.
here. And under remarks column you can put whatever you feel like, if any blocker or something. Okay, I have just recently added one more sheet here, that is links. Links is like during the course will I will share some of the important links or something which we will see, or some article we will follow
Okay.
for, right? So that will
Hmm.
be
More
under,
easier.
yeah, more easier for you guys to take the reference, right? And okay, so let's just start. Also, one more thing, I will recommend only if you guys have a time in a daytime or not, I don't know, but is it will be good. Why I shared this agenda or the syllabus to you before is, it will be good if you will spend at least 30 minutes of time before coming to your class, that what exactly it is and what you have understood. Like coming into the class for a completely blank will be a little bit difficult. So
Hmm.
like for example, today is the first class, then it's fine that we will going to discuss. But like for example, today we have covered this much, and for tomorrow we are definitely going to discuss about the cloud computing and all those things, right? So just give 30 minutes time and just google it, that what it is, what exactly it is, and just create a small picture in your mind, that what we are going to learn. I'm not saying just completely understand. Why I'm
Okay.
telling you to spend 30 minutes of time by your side is because it will help you to understand the things in a better way when I am explaining, right? If you will completely blank, sometimes it's very difficult to understand, and sometimes it's like first time if you are hearing something, and the next day when you will gone through that, the doubt will be more, But if you will already prepare for the doubt or some picture in your mind, so it will help all of us to clear those doubts and move forward, right? So this is one part that we will go with this sequence only. Okay,
Okay.
so let's just start with the networking part. Have you guys ever understood what is networking? Means like, do you have any idea about networking?
Yeah. So I did my diploma in networking. I know a little bit about the networking part. I
Okay,
have done
so
some projects.
okay, great. And you, Ashwati?
No.
Okay, so you are completely new for the networking, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so before moving towards the networking or something, what we understand about network, right? In general term, when we talk about network, what thing come in our mind is something like
Internet.
when group of people, yeah, to connect, when group of people interact, like for example when two trains, like when, let me type what is networking in simple in Google, what is network. So it will give the meaning of that network is, sometimes it relate with the road or railway line or something to connect with each other, right? And in terms of human being, it will say the people, group of people, they communicate or that they work together closely. So this will come under network part. But obviously we are going to learn in the computer terms, so we'll see this is how network look like, and this is the meaning of network. So you need to only just replace a human being with the computer, and other things are same. How we communicate, how we create our network in general life, in the same way we can create in terms of computer, but the only difference is we need to create. But in general life we communicate and the network build. Here we need to explicitly force to create the network, right? Kind of to exchange the information or idea among the people, what we do under networking. In the same way we need to create a connection between the computers to share the files or something, to access each other, to get the data between each others, right? And the next thing under networking is, so this is about only in general term what is networking and what it means. It's like are we able to imagine when we listen the term of networking, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And what is the use of networking? What do you understand by what is the purpose of creating, or what is the benefit it gives?
It helps to communicate between two or more devices.
Mm-hmm. Right? To exchange the data or to share the
Uh-huh.
resources, right? Hmm.
Yeah.
Any other? See, the only, yeah, the whatever you said is the key use or key benefit. But there are a lot of benefits also, or the use is also. Like, for example, if we have only one system or one machine available with us, right? Like, for example, we have our own laptop with us. So, if that laptop, only ideal laptop, which is not connected with internet, what maximum thing we can perform? Like the local software only we can use, or we can use the paint, or we can use the word file. But without internet, nowadays it's very difficult to use the laptop. Means like, I would say there is no use without the internet, right? Everything is related with the internet only. So with networking part also, if I want to communicate with any of the server, any of the things, server means like we normally use Gmail, we normally use Google to search, right? We use Instagram now in our day to day life, right? We use Facebook, we use WhatsApp. So these all are the common application or common thing which we use to communicate. So it's kind of the same thing, just to build our network. In the same way, in terms of computer also, if we have multiple computers, and if we wanted to make the connection between them, we need a network. to connect. Either it could be a LAN, means like wired network,
Mhm.
or
Mhm.
either it could be a Wi-Fi or the virtual network, anything. But there has to be something in between those two computers to communicate with each other, and it's not always possible to work with only one computer. In IT industry, at least there are thousands of the computer, there are data centers which is required to communicate with each other. All those things is, it should be there. So there, at the end of the day, backside there is some network which is required. That's why before moving towards the cloud or something, I am just giving a basic overview about the networking, right? So this is the high level overview of networking, that why we need it. And we have one article, I'll share that link in the that part only. See, just take the networking part, what I am going to teach you, everything is mentioned here only, just to give you imagination power, that what is networking and what all these things are. So let me copy this link here. Okay. So, no, sorry. Okay. So yeah, so this is about just general definition of networking. Any doubt in this?
No.
Like what is def? Okay, great. So now next part is IP address. Now, in general term, if we are talking about that people will talk with each other or something, right? There is some address or identity we have as a human being. So in the same way, network also has some address to communicate with each other. Like for example, if this system wants to communicate this one to this, it required something. It will not directly communicate. Either it could be with the help of direct wiring, even though if it is directly connected with wire, there has to be some net number or some address is required to communicate, right? So that network is known as IP address. Now, what thing come under IP address? First of all, it's just IP address term. Have you heard about this term IP address before, right?
Yes.
Okay, great. So now what is IP address? There are two types of IP address, but before that there are two types of address, like only address. If I'll talk about address, is one is logical address and the other one is MAC address. So MAC address is not important right now. We are only focused on logical address because that is related with our topic. MAC address is every computer, every mobile, everything, every device, any device will have that MAC address available just to identify uniqueness of that device, right? Now logical address is are of two type. Number one is IPv4 and the other one is
IPv6.
IPv, yeah, 6. Okay. So IPv4 and IPv6, again I'm talking about IPv4 only, right? So again the IPv4 are of two types. One is private
Public and
and yeah, right. Other one is public. And there is one more IP address is IPv6. Now let me give you small brief introduction about this and this. So see, IPv4 was designed long back, which is having thousand of the IPs available. When IPv4 was designing, the developer who was designing this IPv4 was thinking that these many IP addresses are more than enough. It will never be it will not, the era will not come that it will be any shorten of the IP addresses. But as this is the very big world, so IPv address are now very less available. So people who were develop IPv4, they realize, okay, there is a problem, we need to create something which can help. If there is no IP addresses will be available, then how we will communicate in the network? So what they did, they designed some IPv5 in between. But there was some problem. something happened, and that was that project is not got successful. So then they created IPv6 directly. Okay, so now IPv4 and IPv6 is having some the purpose of both is same. The only difference is main is IPv4 is 32-bit IP address and IPv6 is 128-bit IP address, right? And this is only having a numeric numbers, only numbers that have, and here it's hexadecimal numbers. Okay, so obviously the number of IP address under IPv6 will be more than as compared to IPv4. And again, now what is the meaning of this bits and this bit? So IPv4 is having 4 octet available, right? Now what is the 4 octet meaning? Like 4 section, like this. Each section is of 8 bit. So there will be 4 octet and each section will have 8 bits. If each will have 8 bits, so like for 8, 8 and 8 and 8. So how many is there? 32, right? So there will be 32 bits, 32 total, 32 bits IP address. And now the number which is allowed, maximum number, is from 0 to 255. The number in each octet will not be more than this. Like from here it will also have 0 to 255, 0 to 255, 0 to 255, 0 to 255. That's it. So there are limitation came that there is no more IP addresses are available. There are very few, but soon it will be only all the IP addresses will be booked. Now next part is IPv6, how it works. IPv6 is 128 bit and that will be hexadecimal number. So it's like A, D, F and 6, 7, 8 like that. If I'll go in the Google and if I'll type IPv6 example. So see, these are the IPv6 examples like that. They have 8 octet and each octet will have this kind of number. Okay. Now we are not going to spend much time on this part because we only need this one. Okay. So under this, as I told you, we have bits and 4 octet, all those things. So there are 5 classes for IPv6. Now what all are these 5 classes? How they work? So there are 5 classes. Class A2, like class A, B, C, D and E. Okay. So under class A, the IP address range is started from 10, sorry, 1, 0.0.0 to 126.0.0.0. Again, in class B, starts from 128 to 191.255.0.0. Okay. In the same way, class C have 192.0.0.0 to 223.255.255.0. Class D will have 224.0 to 239. And the last one is class E. Will have remaining one. What that will be 240 to 255 range. So how these things will work? First of all, let me talk about class D and class E. So these two are not much in use for public, This is because this is already fixed by multicasting for government or the higher organizations. So this will not be been allotted for the normal people like or any company like us. And the class E is for research. These IP addresses are fixed for research like NASA or any big organization will use these IP addresses, and they are very secure. No one can access those IP addresses, right? So only A to C range is available. If you will see, there is something missing here, 127 range, right? If you will see, from 1 to 26 is there, but 128 there is no. Sorry.
That's a loopback address.
Yeah, right. Loopback address, or I would say local host address, right? So it's only for the local machines. They have fixed for locally communication, local host address. So that's why the range of 127 is completely fixed for that loopback address or the local hosting. Okay, and we only available now with A, B, and C range. This is here mentioned here, right? Now how that will be done and how these things will be calculated, we just need to only see that, because we are not going to read networking in depth, that how these IP addresses has been designed and all those things. We only need to understand what kind of this classing and classes is being done, how they segregate this. So in each class or each IP address is having two part. What is that two part is? That is network ID and host ID. Right now, what is the network ID and what is the host ID? We'll see. See, in class A. Okay, let me increase this. Okay, in class A, this first part is network ID and the rest is host ID. Okay. In class B, this two octet are fixed for network ID and the other one is the host ID. Class C is again will have a three network ID and the other one is host ID. So network ID is fixed throughout the network. Only very variable thing is host ID. Like for example, if I have typed one IP address here, for example 115.2.3.6, for example, this is the IP address. Now 115 is IP address starting, if I'll see 115 come under which class? Under class A, right? So under class A, how many octet is reserved for network ID is only one. So if someone will ask you that what is the network ID of this IP address, so you need to give, yeah, 115 and rest will be 0. Why rest is 0? Because these are the variable. This thing will start from 0 to 255. This will change, but the 115 will be fixed throughout the network ID. So this is one part. Now for example, if I will type 193 dot um, 0, no, let me type 2 or 3 and then 1. So now what will be the network ID for this IP addresses? C. 193 fall under this section,
Yeah, C.
right? C. And for C, 3 octet is,
193.
yes. So 193.0, sorry, 2.3.0. This will be the network ID. Now, in each IP address, or how this IP address calculation will done, first, in any range, first IP address always will be the network ID and the last IP address will always be the broadcast IP. Like for example, if I'll take one IP address range 1150, this, let's take this example only, 2 3 6, right? So if someone will ask that what is the network ID and the broadcast IP of this range or this network is, so 115.0.0.0, as this is the class A IP address, so first octet will be fixed for network ID and the rest 3 will be the 0. So this will be the network ID. And the last IP address, what will be the last IP address of this range is 115 dot,
255 dot
last number is 2 double, right, 255.255.255. So this will be the broadcast IP address. Okay, this one. So this is just high level overview of the classes under private under IPv4 public IP address range. Now what is the difference between public and the private now? See, public is these ranges are open for internet, like for internet communication. These are the public IP addresses. Now there are private IP address range also. Let me show you IPv4 private IP address range. So out of these IP addresses, whatever we have with us, maybe one second. This article will also have that IP address range available. Yeah. See, this is the class we have just discussed, and what exactly the IP address we have discussed. Under this, there is no private IP address part is mentioned. Okay, it's okay. So this is the private IP address range from 10 dot this to this. Let me type private IP. Okay, and this one, and the second one is this, and the third one is this. Now what is the private IP range is, private IP range means like they are for internal. See, for example, public IP address, this IP address, let me consider is, if that IP address is allocated to me permanently, so you will not be able to get this IP address until and unless I will release this IP address. But with private IP address range, they are private for my network only. Like for example, if I have designed one network for private IP address, so this, and for example, I have taken one IP address that is 172.16.2.4. Suppose this IP address is now fixed for my computer, for my network, my system. So it's not fixed for me. You can also use this IP address in your private network area. So this can be repeated. This can be only the limitation for this private IP address is only those network area only, under that network area, and this is not required internet to communicate. If they both are the system or all the system come under that network, will it can communicate with each other with the help of private network. But if you if we are talking about public network, the only mandatory thing is required is the internet, then only you can communicate with each other with the help of public IP address. And public IP address can't be allocated, one IP address can't be allocated for the two system. There will be some uniqueness, but this is not the same in the private IP address. So till now, any doubt?
No.
No.
Okay, great. So now let's see what other thing we have. Yeah. Now next part is CIDR subnetting or the port. Now what is the CIDR range and what is the meaning of that? For example, subnetting means if we have a one big network available with us. Like for example, this is one big network, right? And the IP address range for this is 192 dot. Okay. Let me go with this 10.0 dot 10.1.0.0, for example. So this is one big IP address available with me. Now I wanted to divide into the segment. I have one big organization in which I have three section. One is admin group, one is IT team, other one is suppose HR team. And I don't want to communicate, means like I don't want all the network in the big the people. I want some separation with the network so that I can apply the security. I don't want IT team to communicate with HR team to communicate with IT, but admin can communicate with all those things. So I can design those kind of sub network also under this big network. Now that is known as subnetting, sub part of that big network. So there are lot of ways and deep area how to calculate and how to create that sub network part, but we will see how we can use in AWS part. So see, for example, if you have ever seen that this kind of thing, uh, /8, have you ever seen this type of IP address?
Yeah.
Okay, so what is this 8 means?
8 bits.
This is subnet, 8 bits, like subnet part. So how we will identify that how many IP addresses are been allocated for this range. Suppose I have taken this, like purchased from the market this range with /8. So how many IP addresses I have to distribute among these teams? So for that, very easy formula we have. See how many bits we have in IPv4 is 32, right? Just minus 32 minus 8. How much we have? 24. No, I'm sorry. I have done something wrong here. Okay. Just to calculate these things, right? 8. 8 means, let me show you one easy way to calculate. If you will type CIDR calculator, it's available, means it's not, we are not from the networking background, so we no need for mugging up all those formulas. It's very simple. One second. Yeah, see what IP address range we have taken. 0.0, I guess 256 will come. Okay, so yeah, if I'm going to select this, see how many IP addresses we have. Lot of IP address. How this came? If you will go and see 32 is the bits, and we need to minus that with 8. So how much will be remaining? I guess 24. 22.
Yes.
Yeah, 24, right? So 2 to the power of 24 power 24. So this many IP addresses will be allocated. How? Just go to the calculator and just type 2 to the power 24 and equal to, see. So these many IP addresses you have for this particular network range if you are taking as a /8 as a subnet mask. So this is quite bigger network, but as of now, for example, let me check, go for 24. So under 24, how much will be there?
8.
32 minus 24
8.
is 8, right? So 2 to the power 8. 8. So that will be, I guess, equal to 256. If you want to see, just go and check. 24. See, 256, and it will give you the complete information that this is the input range, this is the IP address, first IP address, this is the input long, this one CIDR range from where it will go, from what will be the last IP address, what will be the subnet mask, everything it will give, right? So let me give this link also. Subnet calculator. So this is how we can calculate subnets also, how we can divide subpart also, how we can calculate IP addresses also. No need to go with the too much manual calculation. It's completely fine to use the already readily available thing, because we are not going to design a network. that will be done by the networking team. We are a cloud engineer, we are more focused towards the infrastructure. Okay, we only need to understand the networking part because we are going to use it. That's it. Now next part is port.
You already
What do
provided
you
that link.
understand? Yeah, it's there. I pasted it here.
I think you already did before in in the previous blog. You already have the calculator link. I just saw that.
Yeah, okay, here na, right, this one,
Yeah, just
this.
for that.
Yeah, means there are a lot of links are available, but I just wanted to highlight here also that you can directly use it.
Okay.
So yeah, so now next is port. What do you understand by port?
Uh,
Any idea about the port? No idea? Okay, no problem. See, this is my house, right? Suppose building number 14, like building number 14, house number 3, and XYZ street or something, colony, and city, and the state, whatever it is, we have this address available, right? State and the pin code. If I have ordered any parcel from outside, from suppose Amazon India, okay, I have ordered one parcel and I have mentioned only this much address here, that XYZ colony, and the building number is 14, city, pin code, and state. Okay, that's it. So Amazon India will send the parcel on this address, but the person who is going to deliver this parcel will might face the problem, because one thing, okay, so the address should have my name also. Okay, so here I have mentioned this, and the Kanchan Soni is mentioned here. So the person is known that I need to go with on building number 14. So this is a building number 14 which is having 30 floors, and around for example, each floor is having 10 flats. So how many flats will be there?
300.
300, I guess, right? Yeah, 300 flats. So one building is having 300 flats, and this person needs to deliver that parcel to Kanchan Soni. So how he will deliver? There are a lot of ways to deliver this. He can go all the 300 flats and he can deliver. He can knock the door and ask, is this Kanchan Soni's house, is this Kanchan Soni's house? Another way is either he will ask with the any other guard or some other person that, do you know this person, do you know this person? But unfortunately no one knows me. I'm recently shifted in this building and no one know my address. So how this the person will call, right?
exactly.
At least he should, right? So he needs something to identify the exact door. So that door number should be this one, right? That house number or the door number is 3. So this part has to be mentioned here. So it will be very easy for him just go to this building and just go with the ground floor, and the house number 3 is this one, and this belongs to Kanchan Soni, and just deliver the parcel. It's just 2 minutes job, right? The same thing is done in the network also. So the purpose of door is what is doing here is the same is done by the port. So there are a lot of ports which is fixed, and there are a lot of ports which is not fixed. There are a lot of port which is being allocated internally for the system. Some are publicly available for the system, but some of them are the fixed which we are going to use throughout this learning. Like for example, HTTP. We know what is HTTP, right? We know HTTPS, right? So, like, if we don't know, if we will see that everything, every mail address will have this HTTPS or HTTP, right? No one will have HTTP or HTTPS. Some of them are using that secure network, some of them are not using the secure network. So this is something HTTP protocol. We have network protocols available for us, right? This is another topic. So everything is being done with some port. IP addresses will be there, definitely IP address will be there, CIDR range will be there, everything will be there, but there will be some port also, just to make sure that this is the only port you need to go and communicate with. So for port 80, it is fixed for HTTP. 443 is for fixed for HTTPS. Port number 22 is fixed for SSH, right? Port number 3389, it is fixed for RDP. We are going to use these things in upcoming section. So these are fixed.
Okay.
They are not changed. We can change it, but initial login we need to done with this port only. After that we can customize our network or our system with another port. Like for example, I don't want to communicate with SSH with port number 22, I wanted to change with something 5522. We can change it, but for first time when you wanted to configure this 5522, you have to log in with the port number 22. It is mandatory. Then you can go and change your system with the port number 5522. Then from next time you can go and log in with the 5522. Understood?
Okay. Yeah.
So these are fixed. So this is one another part, like a door for the network. That HTTP, if that request is coming for HTTP, that this will be the door fix for you. If that is 443, this will be the door fix for you. If that is port number 22, this is the door fix for you under this. Okay? Till now, any doubt?
No.
So this is about basics of networking. Next part is virtualization. Now, what is virtualization? Overview of virtualization. Before moving towards the virtualization, let's just understand how initial thing was there before virtualization came into the picture, right? So, one second. See, there is one company. So let's just take this example because we are going to use it so many times. We have Flipkart, right? So Flipkart company is having a website, that is flipkart.com, which is having all the details available, right? We know what is Flipkart, right? So what happened with the Flipkart is this website is running on some server. So this is the server. So this is a physical server. They have a big company available with them, and under that company, they have the data center or the physical servers available on which this website is deployed. So this is the physical server, and as a Flipkart, it's a growing company. So day by day, the users and the people are only increasing. They are not downgrading, right? So initially, Flipkart has purchased two servers when they have started the company. As the number of user has been increased, so they are facing issue on this website. So they need more server because these two servers are not able to handle the load and to serve the end user better way, in a better way, right? So what they did, they purchased one more server. Again the problem was there, they purchased more server. Again the problem was there, more and more. Day by day they are buying more servers because they have a physical data center on which their website is running. But the problem is, similarly, the similar problem was there with the Netflix, and Netflix is the biggest or the best user for best customer for Amazon, right? So Netflix is again the problem. Day by day the users are increasing, and they want the user to have a best service. The video should not be liking, and the once they will click on the any movie or something, they should respond immediately. This is some basic example, right? So day by day everything, every users are increasing in Netflix also, same way here. So if they are going and working on the network which is having a physical data center, the problem they are facing is they need to maintain the physical server by their own, right? So and everything is to be done by them only. But this is about, I'm talking about the big companies, okay? But there are very small companies also. Like for example, I have one very small company, for example, stationery.com. Stationery, let me, they have a stay.com, which will have only stationery items available on their website. That is, for example, pen, copy, okay, calculator, or color pen, anything. So very small company, they have one website available with them. So they have purchased one physical server and design, and they deployed the, I'm talking about the initial phase when the IT industry was developed. So they purchased and they deployed that website here. The size of this server is, for example, 260 256 GB of RAM, which is very small in terms of data center, right? And they have, for example, thousands of GB of storage, okay? And they have, for example, 12 core system. Let's take hypothetical example. So website is running fine when they have 100 users, and they have a capacity to deal with 500 users only. This server, this system is having only, but day by day the business is increasing, and the 500 users are reached. And this is one example, 500 users are there. Another example is, for example, there is a time when the school is just starting. In India we have July is the month where every year schools are more function, means like the year is started in July. So the students or the people who buy all these stationery in at least in a June month. So for example, the June month is the peak time for this website, right? So June month, what they will do in June month, because there are the user number of users are increasing, and the problem is with this website. So what they will do, they will create one more data center, they will buy one more physical data center, and they will copy all these things here also. Everything they create same website here, and again they have available with 500 user capacity extra. So they have now 1000 of the user capacity, so they are able to deal with all these things. But in June it's fine. But what about other months? July, August, September, October. Again, the traffic for this website is average 400 or 300. So which will be done by this server only. That is more than enough. One server is enough for handling this much traffic. So the problem is, because of this 1 month, they have purchased this server. But for whole rest of the whole year, 11 months, they are paying extra cost because there is no use of the server. That is not required. So this is one part. So there is one way of doing it is, they can, or they or any other company, what the people do generally, they can virtualize it. Like, see, did you understand this example?
Yeah.
Yes.
Right? So
Yes.
right, so this is, I'm talking about the in-house data center which will be purchased by the company, and they maintain their own. And apart from only, not only about the servers, they need to maintain the racks cost, cabling cost, internet cost, they need to maintain the AC cost, they need to completely available, one security guard should be there, the 24 by cross 7 electricity should be there, lot of expense they need to do. right, to maintain this server. But when virtualization came, it's like this is the physical data center example I am talking about. Now virtualization means, now virtualization, another example let me share with you. For example, I have this stationery company only I'm talking about. Let's see the stationery company. Stationery company has opened one more company for sub company or the some website for online courses. Online courses, for example, online classes.com they have opened. Again, if they have opened one more business because their business was going well, so they have opened one more thing. So for this also, how they are going to develop, they again need to buy a two servers, right? Again need to do all these things. So instead of doing this, what they did, they thought we have already extra capacity available with me. So what I can do, I can stick my this business to this part only, for this server only, and rest of the time I'll think something else in the June month. But the rest, for as of now, I'm opening a new business. At least I have 50% capacity available. 50% I will reserve for the June month for a safer side, but 50% I have available with me. So what they will do, they can create or they can virtualize this particular system, and half of them they can allocate to this website. Now how this virtualization is been done, see, in the physical data center we cannot deploy two website into one machine, right? We can deploy, we can segregate the domains, we can segregate the port, but the problem will be, see, there is 10 user who is accessing this and 10 user who is accessing this website. So 20 user at a time hitting on this server, and server will have only limited resources available, so there will be a overutilization of the resources and the website may go down, right? It's very difficult to serve with one machine. At the end of the day, the host system is going to serve these 20 users. Some of them will get better service, some of them will not be able to get that service which they are expecting. So it will be very difficult. So what they did, they did two separation. They have split this data center into two part. Now how this split part has been done, that come under virtualization part. Okay, understood or not?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So now, what is the benefit of virtualization and how does it work? Let's just see the basic architecture of virtualization. See, initially I have one machine available with me in which we have a hardware, right? This is the hardware. Just one second. Whatever that part. What's that? Hmm. So this is the hardware. Okay. Yeah. So we have hardware. Under hardware we have, for example, 16 GB of RAM, to 500 of SSD, and 8 core CPU. So this is the hardware we have, small hardware. Under this hardware, what we do, we install operating system, right? OS. And under this operating system, we, above that operating system, we install our applications. That application could be anything, like we can install Teams, we can install browsers, right? We can install my PPT, that is Microsoft Office, completely everything we can install and we can use it. So at the end of the day, if I am using these two at a time, but they are taking a hardware requirement from here, right? So this is the traditional way of working. The way how these things will be worked on, the way they are using the hardware from here. But suppose if I want extra something extra here, some other software also, we need to install it. So see, this is the physical data center and the physical working. This is how the physical data center work. But the extra, how the virtualization helped us, how we can use it. Because see, if I wanted to use something like Linux operating system, for example, I'm talking about here is Windows operating system only. These are the software which is being used by the Windows operating system, right? And now there is some requirement, I just wanted to use a Linux operating system, just for the command base or something. I wanted to use the Linux. So what I will do, I have this much hardware only, right? For example, in the previous example I have shown you, the company stationery.com is having one data center, and for example, they wanted to split it because the base of this is Windows, and the online course want a Linux hardware, right? So how they can do that? This, the basic is Windows only, but how they can split into the Linux part, how this can be done, right? So to perform that task and to done with this, we need, there is one way, just remove Windows and install Linux and use it. But is this the feasible solution to do? But next time when we wanted to use these software, just install, uninstall Linux, then install Windows, then again use it. Is this the best
No,
way, right? So to avoid this, or to deal with this kind of issue, or to utilize the resources in a better way, virtualization came into the picture, and virtualization is the very 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 best solution after uh, this physical problem, the physical problem which we are facing in the physical data centers. So this is the example I'm just telling you, very basic, means very small, 16 GB RAM, SSD and all those things. But what about the data center, when there is a servers, big servers, in which we need to use as per our requirement, we need to create a big network, under that network sub network, then sub network will have another machine. So while dealing with this big network, this virtualization helps a lot. So how virtualization architecture works, again we have a same machine, and this same machine will have the same type of architecture, the same resources, same application, but the only difference will be hardware will be same, okay, base operating system will be there. Base operating system would be Windows, for example. Above that, host, I would say the host machine. In that case, it called host machine. Under that, there is a base operating system. Above that, we install hypervisor.
yeah.
Now, what is hypervisor? Any idea? Anything which you have heard about the hypervisor thing? Any idea about virtualization? Is like before moving. Are you able to
Yeah,
follow what I'm trying to
yeah,
explain?
I worked on VMware. It's also kind of
Great.
hypervisor.
It's a best, right. It's the best example of VMware is the hypervisor example. It's like a software. Ashwati, have you ever heard about hypervisor or something? Any idea?
Yes, I have heard, but
Okay. Never worked on. Right. No problem. So let me give you the basic example. Like for example, see here. So above that we install hypervisor. Right. Okay. It moved down. Okay. So hypervisor, what is hypervisor? Let's see the definition. Then we'll understand what is hypervisor. A program used to run and manage one or more virtual machine on a computer. Now, what is the meaning of this line is hypervisor, I would not say directly it's a software, because it's not always be the software, because sometimes in Windows machine we have Hyper-V, right? Hyper-V available, which we need to turn on or turn off in the BIOS. So hypervisor is, some of the operating system will have inbuilt, some of the we need to manually install, and some of like a software which will help us to convert an initial machine into a virtual machine. For example, here I was only able to use this data center with only the Windows machine, but I want something which can help me to split this machine into two parts. One is in a Windows and another one in a Linux. So if I will install hypervisor, so what, there are a lot of hypervisor softwares are available. That is, hypervisor is the program, but to make it live or to available, we need some softwares, that is like that is Oracle VirtualBox. Okay, VirtualBox. Other one is VMware, right? There are a lot of options are available. We need to install it, and with the help of these softwares, we can convert and split these two. Like how this split part has been done, this will help me to divide my machine into two part. Under this two part, I can create, see, we have one basic Windows operating system. Above that we can install Linux also. And for while installing a Linux, I need to give some of the basic hardware requirement. Like let me give 8 GB of RAM and 200 of SSD and two cores of CPU. I just allocated with this. Okay, and now again all of a sudden I need one Ubuntu machine also. So I can create one Ubuntu also with 4 GB of RAM and 100 GB SSD and two core CPU. So see, in one machine I am able to run to another OS also. This will be act as a different machine itself. So this is known as a virtual machine. Above that we can install our own application under this Linux machine. We can install our own application under this Ubuntu. We can install our own application. So this is one way of working. How this resource allocation will be done, how they are getting this resources to require, which is required this to run this Linux and Ubuntu, they are getting these resources from the host is having this much hardware available. So if 16 is and 500 and 8 core is available, and if that fixed, so how much is remaining now? We have for 4 GB RAM remaining, 200 SSD is remaining, and 4 cores of CPU is remaining with us. So with this we can create new machine also, or we can leave it behind also, but this much is also available. So same way, the company who are it is using and who is having a website, that is stationery.com, can split this machine into two part, and they can install our online courses website into half of the data center. So this is the benefit of hypervisor or or virtualization, I would say. It's like creating a virtualization, creating a virtual machine under the machine with a different operating system. We will see the definition of exact virtualization. I just wanted to clear the picture of how the things work in the backside, but there are a lot of definitions I wanted to share, how virtualization helps in the cloud computing, all those things. But as of now, for today, I guess this is enough. Otherwise, this will be overloaded, right? Any doubt till now?
So, hypervisor is a program, or what would
I, hypervisor is the program, not 100% is the software. Software are used to do with the virtualization, but at the base, I would say that as the definition part, as the core part, some of them can say that hypervisor is the type of program or which help us to do the virtualization. But as per my understanding, it's a program because it help us to convert complete hardware into a virtual machine. See, it is helping us to split this. So this is the some program we are running on the hardware.
okay?
Software is something which we use directly, just like a
Yeah,
Teams or the
and that program
PPT is kind of software.
and that
Right.
program is already inbuilt in the OS.
Right. Which, but yeah, and how to activate that, how we are going to use that program is with the help of some software like Oracle, VirtualBox, or VMware. These are the software. But hypervisor itself is like something which is inbuilt.
Okay.
And when we install these two, automatically it is installing hypervisor only. Some of the or Windows is already having a Hyper-V hypervisor installed in that, so which will help us to work on and create the virtual machines like that. We can use and directly install it.
Okay.
Okay. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe my channel.